Yeah, that's a very important question, because a few days ago we saw EBK issue a list of engineers they are investigating. And this is in relation to buildings that have collapsed. I immediately asked myself, the engineer was not there alone. Is Borax doing something about the architect involved and the QS involved? And that's a point we need to find out, because then you have a team in the project. And oftentimes the architect makes decisions that are not his, that they are structural engineer's decision. And I've been there myself. I've seen a decision, the architect decided to move a wall here and there without my consent and all that, and that has a bearing on the loading arrangement of the building. So much as we insist and say the structural design and the integrity of the building is the responsibility of the responsible structural engineer, the structural engineer does not work in a vacuum. And so the responsibility needs to be borne out by the professionals who are involved. Of course, the degree of responsibility will vary. But because of the nature of what we have seen, that a QS will make a decision that is not his, because of cost issues, they decide we will not do this thing, and sometimes without being aware whether it is going to compromise the integrity of the structure, or the architect goes ahead to make a decision and overrule even the engineer because he's a project lead and all that. So while the effort has been there to delineate and give the roles of each and everyone, and we know very well that the integrity of the structure is basically the work of the structural engineer. In many buildings, we know that the project architect is a lead consultant. There are other buildings, for example, which are largely structural, where the structural engineer will be the lead consultant and all that. That is fair enough for him to carry all the weight. But in a situation where the project architect is the lead consultant, for me, I think if something goes wrong in that building, we need the responsibility apportioned, so that then we bring some sense of discipline to the industry, and we keep our lanes, so that no one takes responsibility for the role that is professionally not theirs. So no question about whose ultimate responsibility for the integrity of the structure is. It is a responsible structural engineer. But we will tell you, as we in practice, that we don't work in a vacuum. It is not a straight line affair. Sometimes there are complications. Sometimes you are told this design is very expensive. Can you go and change? And all that, without factoring in the fact that we designed for safety, not just functionality, and economy and sustainability. So we also designed for safety. So yeah, engineers. So that is my view. Yeah, the structural engineer takes the responsibility ultimately. But yeah, the environment needs to be more enabling, so that the engineer is not overruled, his decisions are not suppressed, and his contribution is not overtaken by another consultant.